This is Mental Forge, where weakness burns and warriors are built. Imagine for a moment that every setback you have ever known, every moment of doubt, every whisper of limitation, was never evidence of defeat, but merely a coded invitation from your own subconscious to rise higher than you have ever dared. What if the very patterns you have called failure were, in truth, raw ore, waiting to be transmuted into the gold of unstoppable growth? What if you could train the deepest layers of your mind to serve your boldest vision with the same certainty that the sun rises? Tonight, you will discover exactly how to do it. You will step into the same current of power that carried Henry Ford from a broke farm boy to the architect of the modern world. You will feel the same relentless pulse that drove Thomas Edison to 10,000 experiments without surrender. You will claim the same magnetic certainty that let Andrew Carnegie turn a single idea into libraries, schools, and empires of influence that still breathe life into millions. By the end of this journey, you will not merely understand unstoppable growth, you will embody it, command it, and radiate it. Your subconscious will become the most loyal, creative, and courageous partner you have ever known. If this promise stirs something ancient and electric inside your chest, stay with me. And if you want more life-changing content like this flowing into your world every single week, take a quiet second to subscribe right now, because what we are about to explore will not be a one-time spark, it will be a sustained fire. Let us begin with a story carved from history's granite. In the winter of 1895, a young reporter named Napoleon Hill marched up the steps of a modest office on 57th Street in New York City. He carried nothing but a letter of introduction from the richest man in America, Andrew Carnegie. The letter said, in essence, give this young man whatever time he requests, for he has been chosen to decode the secret of success. Carnegie greeted Hill with eyes that seemed to look through walls and into the future. He told Hill, I will open every door you need, introduce you to giants of industry, politics, science, and finance, but I will not pay you a single penny. Your payment will be the knowledge you extract from those who have already achieved what the world calls impossible. Hill hesitated. He was broke, newly married, and hungry. But something deeper than hunger stirred, something that sensed destiny. He accepted. Over the next 25 years, Hill interviewed more than 500 of the world's highest achievers, from Henry Ford to Thomas Edison, from Charles M. Schwab to Alexander Graham Bell. He distilled their methods into a single sentence. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Yet the sentence itself was not the secret. The secret was the systematic training of the subconscious to hold that conception with such emotional intensity and such unshakable faith that the universe rearranged itself to match the inner picture. Tonight we walk that same path, refined by modern psychology and accelerated by techniques Hill himself never imagined. If your heart is beating faster, good. That is confirmation that your subconscious is already leaning forward, ready to be trained. Consider Thomas Edison in the autumn of 1879. Newspapers mocked him for promising electric light. Investors pulled their funding. His laboratory had burned to the ground only a year before, taking years of notes and prototypes with it. Yet every night he returned to his rebuilt bench, testing filament after filament. One cold December evening, he held up a carbonized piece of bamboo, connected the circuit, and watched it glow steady for 13.5 hours. When reporters asked how he persisted through 10,000 failures, he replied, I have not failed. I have simply found 10,000 ways that will not work. Each attempt etched deeper into my subconscious, the certainty that the next would succeed. That is subconscious training in action. Each repetition was more than physical. It was a deliberate recarving of identity. Edison did not merely test materials. He tested himself against the anvil of doubt, and every strike forged a belief that became stronger than steel. Modern neuroscience now confirms what Edison intuited. When you repeat a thought or action with emotional intensity, the brain lays down thicker myelin along the neural pathway, making the signal faster and more automatic. Over time, the behavior or belief becomes the default setting. The subconscious, once a skeptic, becomes a crusader. The challenge most people face is not knowing how to begin this process deliberately. They hope for change instead of engineering it. Tonight we engineer it. Let us turn to Henry Ford in the spring of 1903. Detroit buzzed with new horseless carriages. but all were handmade luxuries for the wealthy. Ford envisioned something radical, a motor car affordable to every working family. Investors laughed, engineers quit, suppliers refused credit. Ford had no formal education beyond 8th grade, yet he possessed something more valuable than diploma's unwavering mental picture of a motorized democratization of freedom. Every night he sat alone in a tiny rented shed, eyes closed, hands resting on an imaginary steering wheel, feeling the vibration of the engine, hearing the hum of pistons, smelling the oil and leather, seeing the smiling faces of ordinary families driving down open roads. He rehearsed this sensory movie thousands of times. When the first Model T finally rolled off the line 5 years later, workers swore it matched Ford's descriptions down to the placement of the gear lever. Ford had trained his subconscious so thoroughly that the physical creation was simply the outer echo of an inner certainty. The lesson is profound. Vivid, emotionally charged mental rehearsal programs the subconscious to recognize opportunities, summon resources, and orchestrate circumstances that match the inner vision. We will practice this technique together before this session ends. Now, psychology meets practice. Your subconscious mind operates like fertile soil. It accepts any seed, positive or negative, without judgment. The seed must be planted with feeling, watered by repetition, and protected from the weeds of contradictory thought. Tonight you will plant 3 seeds: identity, purpose, and expectation. Identity is the statement, I am the kind of person who. Purpose is the statement, my definite chief aim in life is. Expectation is the statement, I now expect. Each statement must be phrased in the present tense, as though already accomplished, because the subconscious lives in the eternal now. For example, I am the kind of person who creates value for thousands and receives abundance in return. My definite chief aim is to build a company that employs and empowers 1,000 people by the year 2030. And I now expect unexpected doors to open, resources to appear, and allies to arrive precisely when needed. Write these 3 statements on a card. Read them aloud morning and night, with the same passion you would defend your child's life. Within 90 days, you will notice subtle shifts. A new book catches your eye, a stranger offers unexpected guidance, an idea wakes you at dawn demanding action. The soil does not argue, it simply produces. Before we continue with the next principle, take a moment to subscribe if you have not already. Thousands of listeners come back each week because these recordings do more than motivate. They rewire. If you are ready to join them, hit subscribe now and turn on notifications so the next breakthrough finds you the moment it is released. Let us travel next to the White House, April 1865. The Civil War had just ended. Abraham Lincoln stood on the balcony, gaunt from years of carrying a nation's trauma. He told a crowd, "The struggle of today is not altogether for today. It is for a vast future also." Lincoln understood that the subconscious of a nation had to be reprogrammed from division to unity. He did this through repetitive affirmations of equality, spoken not as wishful thinking, but as already accomplished fact. All men are created equal. He repeated this truth in every speech, every private letter, every quiet moment of reflection. The Emancipation Proclamation was not merely a legal document. It was a command to the collective subconscious of America to evolve. On an individual level, you can leverage the same power. Choose one core truth about yourself that society has questioned. Perhaps you were told you are not creative, not disciplined, not worthy of wealth. Write the opposite affirmation. I am a fountain of creative solutions. I am disciplined and consistent in all I do. I am worthy of limitless abundance. Repeat it while walking, showering, driving. Over time, external evidence will gather like iron filings to a magnet. The subconscious reshapes reality to match the dominant thought. Charles M. Schwab, the steel magnate who became president of United States Steel, possessed a gift for decisive action that appeared almost supernatural. Once, while negotiating a critical deal with railroad tycoons, the talks deadlocked. Schwab excused himself, walked into an empty office, closed his eyes, and in less than 3 minutes returned with a new proposal that satisfied every party. Later he explained, I simply asked my subconscious for a solution that honored all interests. The answer arrived as a complete package, like a telegram from a higher source. Schwab had trained his mind to enter what modern neuroscience calls the theta state, a brainwave pattern associated with deep creativity and intuitive insight. You can cultivate this capacity. Each night, as you drift toward sleep, pose a clear question to your subconscious. How can I double my income while serving twice as many people? Or, what is the next step to heal my relationship with my father? Do not force an answer. Simply ask with calm expectation. Often you will wake with a fully formed idea, or a chance conversation will deliver it. The subconscious is a night watchman who works while the conscious mind rests. Now we weave in the principle of autosuggestion from Joseph Murphy's The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Autosuggestion is deliberate self-talk charged with emotion. It bypasses the critical faculty of the conscious mind and imprints directly on the subconscious. Hill called this the secret passage between thought and reality. For the next 7 days, practice the mirror technique. Stand before a mirror, look into your own eyes, and speak your 3 identity purpose expectation statements aloud for 3 minutes straight. Maintain unwavering eye contact. Speak as though addressing the most important person in the world, because you are. The first day may feel awkward. By the 7th, your voice will steady, your chest will lift, and you will sense a new authority radiating from within. This is not vanity. It is neural architecture being rebuilt. Let us ground these principles in the language of money and wealth, because financial abundance is one of the clearest mirrors of subconscious programming. Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad teaches that wealth is not the result of external conditions, but of an internal financial thermostat. If your subconscious identity is set at earning $70,000 per year, you will unconsciously create circumstances to maintain that level. To shift the thermostat, you must install a new identity. Write a detailed script of your ideal financial life. Where do you live? What does your morning feel like? Whom do you help? Make the description so vivid that your nervous system responds as though it is happening now. Read the script nightly. Within 1 year, you will notice opportunities you previously overlooked. An investment that felt risky now seems obvious. A promotion that seemed impossible is suddenly offered. The outer world is a delayed reflection of the inner image. Change the image. Change the reflection. Consider Nikola Tesla pacing his Manhattan laboratory at 2 in the morning, eyes closed, envisioning entire electrical systems, rotating in 3 dimensions inside his mind. He rarely drew blueprints. He tested machines mentally, running currents, identifying stress points, optimizing designs before touching a single wire. His inventions worked on first assembly because his subconscious had already solved every problem. Tesla's method is available to you. Pick a goal, perhaps launching an online course, writing a book, or starting a nonprofit. Each night, mentally rehearse the completed project. See the testimonials, feel the weight of the printed book, hear the gratitude of those whose lives you have touched. Engage all 5 senses. The subconscious cannot distinguish between vividly imagined experience and physical reality, so it begins to marshal resources to match the vision. Ideas pop up during breakfast, introductions happen at the gym, funding arrives through channels you never anticipated. This is not mysticism, it is the focused use of a lawful mental faculty. Modern psychology offers another tool, cognitive behavioral rehearsal. Identify one limiting behavior, perhaps procrastination on sales calls. Spend 10 minutes daily visualizing yourself picking up the phone with enthusiasm, hearing the prospect's voice, feeling the satisfaction of serving them. Studies show that mental rehearsal activates the same motor cortex regions as physical action, creating neural pathways that make the actual behavior easier. Combine this with the identity statement, I am a confident and persuasive communicator who loves helping people through my product, and the transformation accelerates. Before we move to the final acceleration segment, let us pause for the 3rd invitation to subscribe. The principles you are learning tonight are not theoretical. They are forged in the furnace of history and validated by neuroscience. Thousands of subscribers return each week because each episode layers another brick on the mansion of their future. If you are ready to build alongside them, subscribe now and ring that notification bell so you never miss a breakthrough. Now we enter the action acceleration segment. You will take 3 immediate steps within the next 24 hours. First, write your 3 identity purpose expectation statements on an index card and place it where you will see it upon waking and before sleeping. Second, schedule a 15-minute mental rehearsal session for tomorrow evening. Turn off all devices, sit in a quiet place, and vividly imagine one scene from your ideal life. Engage every sense. Third, identify one small courageous act you can take within 48 hours that aligns with your new identity. Perhaps sending an email you have delayed, signing up for a course, or asking for feedback. Courage is a muscle. Micro acts compound into macro confidence. To reinforce identity, practice the 2-minute forehead anchor. Place your palm gently on your forehead, close your eyes, and repeat your identity statement slowly 3 times. The forehead is associated with the prefrontal cortex, seat of executive decision. Touch creates an anchor. Repetition creates a pathway. Whenever you feel doubt, place your palm on your forehead, and the statement will return with full emotional force. For a closing visualization, picture yourself 1 year from today. You wake up in the home you chose, surrounded by people who celebrate your growth. Your bank balance reflects the value you have created. Your body is strong because you trained it. Your mind is calm because you trained it. Your heart is open because you trained it. See yourself journaling with gratitude for the person you became by training your subconscious every single day. Lock this image in your heart. Let us summarize the most powerful insights. First, your subconscious is a faithful servant, awaiting instructions, never judging, always creating. Second, instructions are delivered through vivid, emotionally charged mental images, repeated until they feel inevitable. Third, history's giants from Ford to Lincoln to Tesla lost these exact principles, proving they work across centuries and circumstances. Fourth, you have the same mental machinery. The only variable is disciplined use. Fifth, transformation begins the moment you decide to train, not someday, but today. Here is your challenge. For the next 30 days, follow the protocol: morning and evening statements, nightly visualization, weekly courageous action, and daily gratitude journaling. Track every synchronicity, every breakthrough, every unexpected blessing. At the end of 30 days, you will possess a written record that your subconscious is now working for you, not against you. Share your results in the comments to inspire others on the same path. As we close this life-changing session, remember that growth is not a destination but a way of being. Every repetition, every image, every courageous act is a vote for the person you are becoming. The world does not need more small, frightened people. It needs you, fully awake, fully trained, fully unleashed. If this message has stirred your soul, subscribe right now and become part of a community dedicated to unstoppable growth. Your future self is already applauding the choice you are making in this moment. Until next time, stand tall, speak your truth, and train your subconscious like the powerhouse it was designed to be. The universe is waiting for the full expression of your greatness, and it all begins with the next thought you choose to impress upon your mind. Now, let us descend deeper into the engine room of your mind, where the gears of destiny turn silently but powerfully. You have already tasted the first drops of what it means to command your subconscious. Tonight, we go further, into the vault where beliefs become biology, where a single sentence whispered with enough conviction can redirect the course of an entire lifetime. If the earlier segment was the spark, what follows is the controlled burn that clears the underbrush of limitation and prepares the soil for an empire. Picture Andrew Carnegie at the age of 13, standing barefoot in a Scottish weaving shed, his stomach cramping from hunger, his father's loom clattering like a death rattle. A letter had arrived. The family would sail for America, carrying nothing but hope. On the storm-tossed Atlantic, young Carnegie repeated a silent vow he had carved into his imagination. "I will rise so high that I lift others with me." He did not know how, but the vow was not a question. It was a command. Within 4 decades, that barefoot boy was the richest man on earth, giving away 90% of his fortune to build libraries, schools, and foundations that still educate millions. The command he whispered on that ship had been rehearsed nightly for 10,000 nights, each repetition another layer of conviction until the external world reorganized itself around the internal decree. Tonight, you will install your own decree. The subconscious mind is not moved by platitudes. It is moved by emotionally supercharged declarations spoken as facts already done. To craft such a declaration, combine the four elements Carnegie instinctively used: specificity, emotion, present tense, and service to others. Write it now. I, your name, am now the person who generates $10 million in ethical value for the marketplace and channels 90% of the overflow to causes that expand human potential. Read it aloud and notice which words vibrate in your chest. Adjust until every syllable feels inevitable. This is your Carnegie decree. Let us weave in David J. Schwartz's principle from the magic of thinking big. The size of your success is determined by the size of your belief. Schwartz uncovered a neurological truth: when you demand more from yourself, your reticular activating system lights up, scanning the environment for resources that match the expanded target. Most people set goals within the perimeter of their current identity. Tonight you redraw the perimeter. Take your Carnegie decree and magnify it by 10. Feel the initial resistance. That is the old thermostat protesting. Persist for 7 days, and the new number will feel as natural as the old one once did. Now, a story from the battlefields of moral courage. Mahatma Gandhi, a timid lawyer in a three-piece suit, stepped off a train in South Africa and was thrown from the first-class carriage because of his skin color. On that cold station platform, he made a decision not out of anger but out of alignment with his soul's directive. I will not obey injustice, and I will do so without hatred. Every day thereafter, he rehearsed this identity. He practiced nonviolent resistance in small acts, refusing to move to third class, burning identity cards, leading peaceful marches. Each act etched the belief deeper into his subconscious until the shy lawyer became the moral compass of the planet. The lesson: when your subconscious owns an identity, strategy flows effortlessly. You do not need to know step 10. You only need to take step 1 in absolute congruence with the identity. Let us install the Gandhi identity in you. Identify one area where you have tolerated injustice, or mediocrity perhaps in your relationship with your body, your finances, or your creativity. Craft an identity statement that begins with, I am the kind of person who, and ends with, and I act accordingly. For example, I am the kind of person who treats my body like a temple and moves daily with joy, and I act accordingly. Repeat it while walking for 10 minutes each day. The rhythm of walking entrains the brain to theta waves, accelerating absorption. Within 30 days, the behavior will feel like self-expression rather than discipline. We now layer in Earl Nightingale's strangest secret. You become what you think about most of the time. Most people think about what they don't want: bills, rejection, illness. The subconscious, ever obedient, delivers more of the same. Tonight, you flip the script. Create a worry to wish list. On the left, list every recurring worry. On the right, convert each to a wish phrased in present tense. Worry: I'm afraid I'll never get out of debt. Wish: I am now completely debt-free, and money flows to me through multiple channels. Read the wish list twice daily, aloud, with a smile. The smile triggers dopamine, tagging the statement as pleasurable and therefore important. Within weeks, you will notice spontaneous ideas for new income streams, unexpected refunds, or lower interest rates appearing as if by coincidence. Let us turn to Charles F. Haanel's master key system, which teaches the law of substitution. The subconscious cannot hold two dominant thoughts simultaneously. When doubt arises, immediately substitute a pre-selected power image. Choose a memory when you felt invincible, perhaps scoring the winning goal, nailing a presentation, or holding your child for the first time. Relive the memory for 30 seconds with full sensory detail. The emotional jolt crowds out doubt and resets your vibration to certainty. Practice this twice daily for 90 days. You will develop a trigger ability to shift states on command. Now, a story of relentless reinvention. Benjamin Franklin left school at 10, yet he became the world's most respected polymath. His secret was self-directed subconscious training. Each week he focused on one virtue: temperance, silence, order, resolution, and tracked his progress with black dots in a notebook. By systematically impressing each virtue upon his subconscious, he rewrote his identity from runaway apprentice to master diplomat. You can replicate Franklin's method on steroids. Choose one skill that would revolutionize your life, perhaps public speaking, coding, or investing. Break it into micro skills. For the next 12 weeks, immerse your subconscious daily through deliberate practice, visualization, and teaching others. Record a 2-minute video each Sunday summarizing what you learned. Teaching locks the skill into deeper neural layers. By week 13, you will possess a level of competence that once seemed unreachable. Let us infuse the neuroscience of habit stacking. Your subconscious loves patterns. Anchor a new behavior to an existing habit. Example: after brushing your teeth, immediately recite your identity statement. After pouring your morning coffee, open your journal and write 3 evidences that your decree is already manifesting, perhaps an unexpected compliment, a new LinkedIn connection, or a flash of inspiration. These micro-evidences train your brain's confirmation bias to hunt for proof that you are already becoming the person you claim to be. Evidence creates belief. Belief creates more evidence. The loop becomes self-reinforcing. Now, the Napoleon Bonaparte principle of concentrated energy. Bonaparte could dictate to 4 secretaries simultaneously on 4 different topics without losing the thread. His secret was single-pointed mental focus. He trained his subconscious through what he called mental fencing, 10 minutes daily, envisioning every possible countermove an enemy could make, followed by his precise response. You can use the same method for any goal. Take your Carnegie decree and spend 10 minutes nightly running mental simulations. See obstacles, feel setbacks, then watch yourself pivot with grace and power. This inoculates your nervous system against future shocks and programs your subconscious to respond with tactical creativity under pressure. Let us add Wallace D. Wattles' principle of gratitude as a creative force. Each morning, write 10 things you are grateful for, but phrase them as if they are already accomplished aspects of your future. I am grateful that my keynote speech received a standing ovation. I am grateful that my investment portfolio now funds my dream home. Gratitude in advance tells the subconscious that the outcome is inevitable, accelerating manifestation. Now, a story of strategic thinking from John D. Rockefeller. At 24, he faced the panic of 1859. While competitors hoarded cash, Rockefeller invested every spare dollar in oil refineries, guided by a vision of kerosene lighting every home in America. His subconscious had been trained through nightly visualization of a world illuminated by oil. When others saw disaster, he saw destiny. You can adopt the same lens. During the next market downturn, practice Rockefeller's question: where is the hidden opportunity that serves millions and enriches me ethically? Your subconscious will begin to highlight possibilities invisible to the masses. Let us weave in Bob Proctor's concept of the terror barrier. Whenever you approach the edge of your comfort zone, terror arises. Most retreat. Champions recognize terror as a green light. The subconscious has been wired to equate unfamiliar with unsafe. To rewire, perform 1 daily micro-bravery. If public speaking terrifies you, record a 60-second video and post it privately. Each act tells the subconscious, new equals safe and profitable. Over 90 days, your terror barrier becomes a trampoline. Now, the integration segment. Take out your phone and set 3 daily alarms labeled identity, vision, and action. When the identity alarm chimes, recite your decree. When the vision alarm sounds, close your eyes for 60 seconds and visualize your ideal scene. When the action alarm rings, perform 1 tiny act aligned with your goal. Send the email, do the push-up, read the page. These microdoses compound into macro momentum. As we prepare to close this extended session, let us revisit the giants. Lincoln's persistence rewrote a nation. Ford's vision rewrote transportation. Gandhi's identity rewrote freedom. Each began with a single thought repeated until it became a conviction. Your thought is no less potent. The same universal substance that spun galaxies listens for your next command. Here is your 24-hour action plan. Tonight, before sleep, write your Carnegie decree on a card and place it under your pillow. Tomorrow morning, read it aloud while your feet touch the floor. At noon, perform 1 act that scares you slightly. Tomorrow evening, spend 15 minutes in sensory-rich visualization. Before you drift to sleep, whisper, "Thank you for the evidence already on its way." Repeat for 30 days. By day 31, you will possess a new internal baseline of confidence, and the external world will mirror it. If this session has stirred something ancient and unstoppable within you, subscribe now and share this with one person who needs to hear it. The ripple effect of one trained subconscious can uplift generations. As you close this chapter, remember, you are not a drop in the ocean, you are the ocean in a drop. Train the drop, transform the ocean. Your greatest growth is not ahead of you, it is within you, waiting for the command. Speak it now. We are only halfway up the mountain, and the air is already thinner, clearer, charged with the ionic crackle of possibility. The summit is still above us, glowing with auroral light, and every step from here on is carved directly into the granite of your identity. You have tasted the mechanic statements, visualizations, micro-braveries, but mechanics without momentum are merely museum pieces. Tonight we ignite momentum so fierce that hesitation becomes impossible, so magnetic that opportunities sprint toward you like filings to a lodestone. If your pulse is already racing, good, that is the sound of old limits snapping. Let us begin with a story from the trenches of obsession. Leonardo da Vinci kept a notebook chained to his belt. Every time he passed a butcher shop, he would sketch the tendons of a dissected leg. Every time he watched birds, he would redraw their wings until the paper tore. He filled 17,000 pages with questions, not answers. Why is the sky blue? How does the heart close its valves? Each question was a command to his subconscious. Find the pattern. Reveal the secret. After decades, those commands rewired his perception so deeply that he could see anatomy in motion while simply looking at a living man. The lesson: relentless inquiry trains the subconscious to become a research laboratory that never sleeps. Adopt the Da Vinci question ritual. Every night, write 3 questions about your goal in the margin of your journal. Do not demand answers, simply ask with wonder. Within a week, you will notice articles, podcasts, and chance remarks that illuminate the answers. The subconscious loves a good mystery and will work overtime to close the loop. Next, we install the Winston Churchill principle of defiant courage. In 1940, London burned under the Blitz. Churchill walked the rubble-strewn streets, cigar clenched, hat tilted at its signature angle. He repeated under his breath, "We shall never surrender." Not, "I hope we won't," not, "we might endure," but a declarative prophecy. The repetition was broadcast to every citizen through radio, and soon housewives hummed it, factory workers etched it onto shells, children chanted it while playing in shelters. The phrase became a national mantra, and the collective subconscious of Britain hardened into an unbreakable shield. You can create the same shield for your private battles. Craft a 2-word mantra so primal it vibrates in your bones. Mine is unbreakable forward. Yours might be wealth magnet, healing force, or silent thunder. Whisper it before every phone call, every negotiation, every glance in the mirror. Within 90 days, the mantra will precede you into every room like an invisible aura of inevitability. Now, the Theodore Roosevelt charge of explosive vitality. Roosevelt was a sickly asthmatic child. Doctors predicted an early death. By 22, he had transformed himself into the Rough Rider who charged up San Juan Hill. His method was systematic desensitization. He exposed himself to discomfort daily, skinny, dipping in frozen rivers, boxing champions, hiking through blizzards. Each exposure told his subconscious, "I am harder than the thing that tries to break me." You can replicate this without frostbite. Choose one physical discomfort that symbolizes your goal, perhaps cold showers, fasting for 16 hours, or sprint intervals. While enduring it, repeat your identity statement. The brain links the discomfort with the identity, creating an unshakable association. I am forged in challenge. Over 30 days, the discomfort becomes a cue for confidence. Let us layer in Marcus Aurelius's Stoic reprogramming. Each evening, the emperor wrote in his journal, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." He was not merely recording events, he was rewriting his emotional response to them. You can do the same. Each night, list one setback from the day. Next to it, write the hidden gift. Rejection became redirection, delay became preparation, criticism became calibration. Within 60 days, Your subconscious will reflexively search for the gift inside every obstacle, turning potential frustration into fuel. Now, the neuroscience of mirror neurons. When you vividly imagine an action, the same neurons fire as when you physically perform it. This means mental rehearsal is not fuzzy wishcraft. It is neurological training. Choose one high-stakes scenario keynote, a sales pitch, a difficult conversation. Lie down, close your eyes, and run the scene in first person, then in third person, then again in first person. Each perspective rewires a different cluster of neurons. After 21 cycles, your performance will feel pre-lived, and anxiety will dissolve into familiar competence. Let us weave in James Allen's teaching from As a Man Thinketh. Circumstances do not make the man, they reveal him. If you desire new circumstances, you must first embody the internal state that naturally produces them. The fastest way is the as-if technique. For 1 week, act as if your goal is already accomplished. Walk as if investors are already calling. Speak as if your book is already a bestseller. Dress as if your body is already sculpted. The subconscious takes its cues from behavior, not the other way around. Within 7 days, the external world will begin to negotiate with the new internal state. Now, a story from the trading floor of Charles M. Schwab. In 1901, J.P. Morgan challenged Schwab to secure a $100 million loan within 48 hours to create United States Steel. Schwab entered a quiet office, closed the blinds, and paced in darkness for exactly 23 minutes. He later said he felt the deal close around him like a steel vice. When he emerged, he dictated terms that Morgan accepted without a comma changed. Schwab had practiced what psychologists now call incubation, handing the problem to the subconscious and walking away. Tonight, choose one gnawing problem. Write it on paper as a clear question. Place the paper under your pillow. Upon waking, capture the first 3 ideas that surface. Statistically, one will be actionable within 24 hours. Now, the compound affirmation stack. Take your identity statement and layer 3 affirmations beneath it, each slightly more granular. Example, I am a visionary entrepreneur who uplifts millions. Layer 1, I attract visionary partners who multiply my impact. Layer 2, every conversation seeds collaborative genius. Layer 3, today I speak with at least one stranger who will become a lifelong ally. Read the stack aloud each morning. The subconscious loves hierarchy. It will work from the bottom up, delivering daily wins that confirm the grand vision. Let us add the Kiyosaki cash flow game. Each day, spend 5 minutes mentally spending a specific sum, say, $10,000 in assets only, dividend stocks, rental property, intellectual property. Track the imaginary passive income. Over 90 days, you will develop an intuitive radar for real deals. The subconscious cannot distinguish between vividly imagined wealth and actual wealth, so it begins to steer you toward opportunities that match the practiced vibration. Now, the Julius Caesar principle of commanding presence. Before entering any room, Caesar would whisper, Veni, Vidi, Vici. I came, I saw, I conquered. The phrase was not arrogance, it was a neural primer. Create your own 3-word prime. Mine is calm, clear, commanding. Whisper it before every Zoom call, every date, every workout. Within 30 days, your voice, posture, and decisions will align without conscious effort. Let us introduce the dopamine stack. Each time you complete a micro-action aligned with your identity, celebrate for 15 seconds, fist pump, deep breath, smile. The celebration spikes dopamine, tagging the behavior as rewarding. Over weeks, the subconscious craves the action for the chemical payoff, turning discipline into desire. Now, the night integration ritual. Each evening, write 3 evidences that your decree is already happening. Evidence must be concrete. A stranger smiled. A podcast mentioned your niche. An unexpected refund appeared. The subconscious is a lawyer. It needs proof. The more proof you feed, the faster the case closes in your favor. Let us anchor with the Alexander the Great legacy lens. At 21, Alexander inherited a kingdom, but dreamed of an empire that would civilize the world. He carried Homer's Iliad annotated by Aristotle under his pillow, reading nightly about Achilles' valor. The stories rewrote his identity from king to world changer. Choose one biography of a titan in your field. Read 10 pages nightly. Highlight one line that electrifies you. Whisper that line upon waking. After 30 days, the titan's neural pathways will begin to overlay your own. Now, the quantum question from Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil. What would I dare to dream if I knew I could not fail? Write the raw, uncensored answer on a fresh page. Then rewrite it with the filter, how can this serve a million people? The subconscious responds to scale. A million-person vision recruits resources 1,000-person vision cannot. Let us integrate the Tony Robbins triad: physiology, focus, language. Stand up, shoulders back. Breathe in for 4 counts, out for 6. Shout your decree with absolute certainty. The physical posture floods the brain with testosterone and lowers cortisol, priming the subconscious for action. Do this 3 times daily for 90 days, and your identity will harden like tempered steel. Now, the secret of the second wind. Every marathoner knows that at mile 20, the body screams to quit. Then, mysteriously, a second wind arrives. The subconscious releases stored glycogen and endorphins when it senses unyielding will. You can trigger this at will. Whenever fatigue or doubt appears, roar silently, "Second wind, now!" The subconscious obeys the cue. Test it during your next workout or late-night work session. Let us layer in the Bob Proctor concept of paradigm paralysis. A paradigm is a mental program that has almost exclusive control over habitual behavior. The only way to dissolve a limiting paradigm is to shock the nervous system with a new experience. Schedule one experience this month that your old identity would never attempt: a silent retreat, a salsa competition, a stand-up open mic. The disorientation cracks the old shell and allows the new identity to expand. Now, the micro-alliance strategy. Each week, reach out to one person 1 or 2 levels ahead of you. Send a specific compliment and one thoughtful question. The subconscious interprets proximity to success as evidence of belonging. Over a year, you will have 50 high-leverage allies who see you as a peer. Let us install the failure reframing protocol. Each perceived failure is labeled data point in your journal. Next to it, write the lesson and the next experiment. This prevents the subconscious from encoding failure as identity. Edison's 10,000 light bulb attempts were simply 10,000 data points refining the path. Now, the expectation anchor. Place a small object, a coin, a ring, a crystal in your pocket. Each time you touch it, silently affirm, something wonderful is happening now. The object becomes a trigger for positive expectancy, training the subconscious to scan for miracles. Let us close with the ultimate integration, the 20-year letter. Write a letter dated 20 years from today, thanking your present self for the decisions made tonight. Describe the lives touched, the wealth created, the legacy built. Seal it. Open it in 1 year. The subconscious will spend the year aligning reality with the letter. As this extended session ends, stand up, place your hand on your heart, and speak aloud. I am now trained for unstoppable growth. Every breath expands my capacity. Every action multiplies my impact. The world is waiting for the full expression of my greatness, and it begins now. Then take one immediate step: send the email, book the course, start the timer. The universe responds to movement. If this transmission has rewired your sense of what is possible, subscribe and share it with one warrior who is ready to rise. The ripple you create today may become the tsunami that reshapes tomorrow. Until we meet again, remember, you are not here to make a living. You are here to make history. Train accordingly. And so we rise, past the timberline of ordinary ambition, into the rarefied air where thought crystallizes into form before it even leaves the mind. Every breath you take at this altitude must be deliberate, for at this height there are no casual thoughts, only commands. You have already tasted the mechanics, rehearsed the histories, wired the rituals. Now we enter the final crucible, where identity is not merely rehearsed but forged, quenched, and polished until it reflects the future like a mirror of polished obsidian. If your heartbeat is hammering, let its steel is shaped by blows. Listen to the whisper of Nikola Tesla in the Colorado night, 1899. He stands barefoot on the prairie earth, copper coils humming around him, lightning crackling overhead like the laughter of gods. Observers expected terror. Tesla felt communion. He had trained his subconscious to perceive electrical fields the way sailors read wind. Years earlier, as a boy in Smiljan, he had closed his eyes and pictured every filament of a thunderstorm until the image was more vivid than the storm itself. When the day finally arrived to command lightning, his mind already lived in that voltage. Tonight you will do the same with your own invisible lightning, your unique current of genius, wealth, and influence. Choose one domain where you long to command invisible forces, perhaps scaling a business to 8 figures, healing thousands through your art, or shaping policy that outlives you. Write the scene, you standing in the completed laboratory of your triumph, the hum of realized vision surrounding you like Tesla's coils. Engage every sense until your skin tingles. Read it aloud at the exact same minute every night for 40 nights. On night 41, you will find yourself walking through circumstances that feel suspiciously like the scene you described. The subconscious does not know the difference between a rehearsal and a premiere. Now, the secret of the second scroll, hidden in plain sight within the works of Napoleon Hill. Hill observed that every person who achieves mastery has what he called a mastermind sentinel, an inner gatekeeper that filters every incoming suggestion. Most people's gatekeepers are asleep, allowing the world to program them with fear, headlines, and scarcity gossip. Tonight, you awaken your sentinel. Craft a 3-word passcode that only the highest, most empowering suggestions may cross. Mine is "Only Gold Enters." Yours might be "Victory Only," "Infinite Love," or "Creative Dominion." Write it on a sticky note and place it on your phone. Each time you unlock the screen, whisper the passcode. Within 7 days, you will notice an almost physical recoil from negativity. The sentinel has risen. Let us borrow the deliberate practice protocol of Benjamin Franklin and weaponize it for 21st century speed. Franklin tracked 13 virtues weekly, 1 per day, marking faults with black dots. You will compress the cycle into 24 hours. Choose one virtue that, once habitual, would render your goal inevitable perhaps. Decisive boldness. Divide the day into 4 quarters: dawn, forenoon, afternoon, twilight. Each quarter contains 6 micro-opportunities to practice the virtues, end the risky text, voice the unpopular truth, invest the uncomfortable amount. Carry a small tally card. Every time you act in alignment, mark a gold star. Every time you hesitate, mark a black dot. Your subconscious hates black dots. Within 2 weeks, the stars will outnumber them 10 to 1, and boldness will be your default. Now, the Rockefeller ledger of systematic certainty. John D. Rockefeller kept 2 ledgers, one for dollars, one for decisions. Every evening he reviewed the decisions ledger, asking, "Did this choice move me closer to my definite chief aim?" The dollars followed. Create a digital decisions ledger. Each night, list the day's pivotal choices on the left, your aim on the right. Color code green for alignment, red for drift. Watch green multiply. The subconscious loves clarity. The ledger provides it. Let us inject the Tony Robbins RPM rapid planning method into your subconscious nightly. Write the result you want, the purpose that fuels you, and the massive action plan. But here is the twist. Write it as a letter from your future self to your present self, dated exactly 1 year ahead. Seal it in an envelope labeled "Already Done." Place it under your pillow. The subconscious reads during sleep. By morning, the plan will feel pre-accomplished. Now, the Da Vinci Curiosity Loop. Each day, identify one skill adjacent to your goal that you currently ignore, perhaps copywriting, coding, or negotiation. Spend 15 minutes in what Da Vinci called interrogative immersion. Ask 7 consecutive why questions, each deeper than the last, until you reach the root principle. Then ask 7 consecutive how questions, each more practical than the last, until you reach a micro-action you can execute within 24 hours. This trains your subconscious to cross-pollinate disciplines, birthing breakthroughs your competitors cannot see. Let us anchor with the Churchill War Room ritual. During the Blitz, Churchill convened nightly midnight follies, 15 minutes of absurd, high-stakes brainstorming where no idea was too wild. The subconscious loosens under play. Schedule your own midnight follies once a week. Invite one ally. Pose one impossible question. How could I double my impact in 30 days with zero capital? Set a timer for 15 minutes. Capture every idea. The most lucrative breakthroughs often arrive disguised as jokes. Now, the Tesla Energy Hygiene Protocol. Tesla refused to touch rings or watches because he believed metal disrupted his biofield. While you need not discard your jewelry, adopt one daily practice that clears energetic residue, perhaps barefoot grounding, a cold plunge, or 10 minutes of coherent breathing. The subconscious operates on subtle frequencies. Keep the channel clear. Let us install the Franklin morning question. What good shall I do this day? Write the answer in 3 words on a sticky note. Place it on your bathroom mirror. The subconscious loves morning priming. The day will conspire to deliver your 3-word mission. Now, the Rockefeller strategic silence. Rockefeller never spoke in meetings until everyone else had exhausted themselves. Then he spoke once, decisively. Train your subconscious to value silence as power. Each day, during one conversation, count silently to 3 before responding. You will notice deeper insights emerging from the pause. Let us close with the ultimate identity lock, the legacy obituary. Write the obituary you wish to read, exactly as your great-grandchild would write it. Include the impact, the character, the adventures. Read it aloud every birthday. The subconscious will move heaven and earth to fulfill a destiny already declared. As this epic session concludes, stand barefoot on the floor, feel the earth's pulse, and proclaim, I have trained my subconscious for unstoppable growth. The universe is now rearranging itself in my favor. I walk forward as the living proof. Then take the next bold step book, the mastermind. Hire the coach, publish the post. The moment you move, the mountain moves with you. Subscribe now, share this with the one person whose destiny is tied to yours, and meet me in the next transmission where we will explore how to turn this personal mastery into generational wealth and legacy. Until then, walk as if the ground itself applauds every stride. The summit is no longer above you, it is inside you, radiating outward like heat from newly forged steel. Every principle you have rehearsed is now a living filament in the vast circuitry of your mind. Yet circuits alone do not illuminate cities. Electricity must be switched on and routed with precision. What follows is the master switchboard, the protocols that take subconscious training from private discipline to public conquest, from quiet confidence to roaring legacy. If the earlier segments were the forging, what comes now is the field test under live fire. Imagine Thomas Edison on the morning of October 21st, 1879. The filament in bulb number 10001 has been glowing for 13.5 hours. But Edison is not celebrating, he is already scribbling improvements. A reporter asks, how does it feel to have finally succeeded? Edison replies, I have not succeeded. I have merely proven the principle. Now I scale it until every home in America forgets what darkness feels like. That is the moment mastery turns into movement. Tonight you will perform the same pivot. You will move from proving the principle inside yourself to proving it across the marketplace, the community, the century. We begin with the Rockefeller decision grid, a single sheet of paper that compressed the entire Standard Oil empire into daily clarity. Draw a vertical line down the center. On the left, list every open loop in your life projects, conversations, investments, relationships. On the right, write the one action that, if completed in the next 24 hours, would render each loop either closed or obsolete. Do not list Step 2. Step 2 appears only after Step 1 is executed. The subconscious is allergic to clutter. It expands in inverse proportion to open loops. Review the grid each dawn and dusk. Within 30 days, you will feel the hydraulic surge of freed mental bandwidth. Next, the Carnegie amplification engine. Andrew Carnegie did not merely build steel. He built men who built steel. His secret was the Tuesday letter. Every Tuesday at noon, he penned a personal note to a rising leader somewhere in the world, acknowledging one specific act of excellence. The recipients became lifelong evangelists. You will replicate the engine digitally. Each Tuesday, post a 60-second video praising one person whose work quietly inspires you. Tag them publicly. The subconscious records generosity as power. Within months, you will command a global network of allies who move when you whisper. Let us layer in the Tesla field expansion protocol. Tesla would close his eyes and mentally extend the electrical field of his laboratory until it embraced the entire planet. You will do the same with your influence field. Choose 1 Metri-Smail subscribers, podcast downloads, lives touched, and visualize it growing until it covers the globe like an aurora. Hold the image for 90 seconds each night while lying flat, palms up. The subconscious is a geospatial calculator. It will begin to arrange introductions, algorithms, and accidents to match the map. Now, the Franklin Virtue Velocity Loop. Franklin tracked 13 virtues cyclically, 1 per week. You will compress the cycle into a single day through the sunrise sprint. At dawn, choose the virtue most needed for that calendar day, perhaps decisiveness. For the next 16 waking hours, every choice must either express that virtue or be postponed. The subconscious loves intensity over duration. A single day of virtue saturation rewires more neuromyelin than a month of lukewarm effort. We now install the Churchill War Room visualization. Each evening, stand in front of a wall-sized whiteboard. Sketch the current battlefield of your goal market forces, competitors, resources. Then erase it and redraw the battlefield as it will appear exactly 90 days from now, with your victory conditions already achieved. Photograph both versions. The subconscious registers the delta as marching orders. Let us add the Rockefeller certainty ledger. Every night, Rockefeller wrote 1 sentence predicting tomorrow's most profitable event. He was uncannily accurate because he trained his subconscious to hunt for asymmetrical opportunity. Adopt the ritual. 1 predictive sentence, sealed in an envelope, opened the next evening. Over 90 days, you will develop a private track record so precise that confidence becomes chemical. Now, the Da Vinci cross-pollination matrix. Leonardo kept separate notebooks for anatomy, flight, hydraulics, and art. But once a week he would force intersections, drawing a bird's wing beside a water screw, a human heart beside cathedral buttresses. You will create a digital matrix. 4 columns labeled skill, audience, technology, capital. Each week, force 1 intersection from each column into a single experiment, perhaps teaching blockchain to artists using Instagram Reels funded by a microgrant. The subconscious thrives on novelty. The matrix keeps it perpetually fertilized. Let us anchor with the Gandhi silent authority protocol. Gandhi spoke softly yet moved millions. His secret was the 90-second pause before responding to any challenge. During the pause, he silently repeated, "I am the calm amidst the storm." Adopt the protocol. Every important conversation, pause 90 seconds, breathe. Repeat your private mantra, then speak. Your words will land like commandments. Now, the Tesla Midnight Blueprint. Tesla often worked through the night, sketching inventions by candlelight. Copy the cadence. Once a week, from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., unplug all devices, light a single candle, and handwrite the next chapter of your legacy-owned product. 1 speech, 1 philanthropic structure. The subconscious is most plastic in the liminal hours between days. The candle signals that you are writing reality, not merely planning it. Let us install the Alexander Ambition Escalation Ladder. Alexander did not merely conquer Persia. He envisioned the edge of the world. Write 5 ascending visions: 1 year, 3 years, 10 years, 30 years, 100 years. Read the ladder aloud each solstice and equinox. The subconscious stretches to the size of the question asked. Now, the Carnegie Reciprocity Flywheel. Carnegie funded thousands of libraries, but each bore a plaque. Let there be light. The recipients became lifelong marketers for his ethos. Create your own flywheel. Quarterly, release 1 high-value resource template, mini-course, scholarship branded with your mantra. The subconscious records the act as seed capital. The market returns it with compound interest. We close with the ultimate integration, the Legacy Codex. Buy a hardbound journal. On page 1, write your full obituary as if penned by your great-grandchild. On the last page, write today's date and 1 sentence: I began in earnest. Each day, write the single most courageous act you performed toward that obituary. When the journal is full, you will hold the first volume of your legend. As this transmission ends, stand barefoot, eyes closed, and feel the ground hum beneath you. Whisper, I have become the force I once prayed for. Then take the next irreversible step. Publish the manifesto, wire the investment, sign the contract. The moment ink meets paper, the universe rewrites itself around your signature. Subscribe now. Share this with the one soul who is ready to cross the Rubicon with you, and meet me in the next broadcast, where we will explore how to turn this personal empire into a dynasty that echoes through centuries. Until then, walk as if the earth itself is your stage, and every footstep a standing ovation. The applause of the earth has faded into a steady, expectant hush, the kind of silence that precedes either surrender or sovereignty. You now stand at the invisible equator between student and sovereign, between practitioner and prophet. Everything before this moment was calibration. Everything after is conquest. If your lungs feel larger, good. If your pulse feels orchestral, better. The final layers of subconscious mastery are not learned, they are surrendered into. Tonight, we cross that line irrevocably. Listen to the final heartbeat of Marcus Aurelius on the banks of the Danube, winter of 180. The emperor's tent is snow-lashed, legions decimated by plague, enemies massing beyond the river. He opens his journal and writes for the last time. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Then he lays down the stylus, dons his armor, and rides into legend. The words were not comfort. They were a transmission that rewired every Roman mind within earshot. Tonight you will craft your own transmission, one that rewires every mind within the radius of your voice. We begin with the Aurelian identity merge. Stand before a mirror at exactly 4:44 each morning. The veil between conscious and subconscious is thinnest at this minute. Speak your Carnegie decree once, then immediately whisper the Aurelian maxim once. The juxtaposition fuses ambition with stoic inevitability. Repeat for 44 consecutive mornings. By the 45th, you will feel your reflection nod before you do. Next, the Rockefeller ownership matrix. Rockefeller never asked, "How can I get more?" He asked, "How can I own the pipeline that others must flow through?" Draw a circle in the center of a page, write your definite chief aim inside it. Around it, draw 6 intersecting circles labeled content, community, capital, code, collaboration, cause. Each week, create one asset that sits at the intersection of 2 circles, perhaps a code-powered content series that funds a cause while building community. The subconscious begins to perceive you as the hub, not the spoke. Let us layer in the Tesla frequency lock. Tesla tuned his coils to precise frequencies that shattered steel. You will tune your day to a single frequency, intentionality measured in 15-minute blocks. Purchase a cheap kitchen timer. Set it for 15 minutes. Work on one task with complete sensory immersion. Reset. Repeat. After 4 cycles, take a mandatory 5-minute play break. The subconscious experiences this as a standing order. During every 15-minute pulse, reality must yield. Now, the Churchill Black Dog reversal. Churchill called his depression the black dog. When it growled, he painted, dictated speeches, or paced the cabinet war rooms until the beast whimpered. Create your own Black Dog protocol. A pre-written playlist of 3 songs, a pre-selected physical circuit, a pre-primed phone contact. The moment doubt surfaces, enact the protocol in exact sequence. Within 90 seconds, neurochemistry shifts. The subconscious learns that the trigger for greatness is the same as the trigger for gloom. You simply rewired which door opens. Let us install the Franklin Virtue Stock Exchange. Franklin tracked virtues like commodities. You will trade them like currencies. At sunrise, rank 5 virtues you need most: discipline, empathy, audacity, discernment, generosity. Assign each a hypothetical stock price starting at 100. Throughout the day, mentally buy or sell shares based on your behavior. Log closing prices at dusk. The subconscious loves gamification. Within weeks, you will instinctively arbitrage toward the highest value virtue. Now, the Da Vinci mirror sketch. Leonardo drew with his left hand to access right brain insight. Each evening, sketch your current challenge with your non-dominant hand for 60 seconds. The awkwardness forces the subconscious to bypass linear filters and deliver symbolic solutions. Photograph every sketch. Patterns emerge that conscious logic missed. Let us anchor with the Alexander legacy echo. Alexander wept when he realized he had no more worlds to conquer then. He built cities bearing his name across continents. Write the name of the city, physical or digital, you will build. Reserve the domain, sketch the crest, plant the flag on paper. The subconscious must anchor to a fixed point in the future. The city becomes that point. Now, the Carnegie multiplication mandate. Carnegie believed every fortune must create at least 10 more fortunes. Draft a one-page letter to your future apprentice, outlining the exact mindset and resources you will pass on. Seal it. The subconscious now has two missions: build the fortune and prepare the apprentice simultaneously. We integrate with the Tesla Midnight Lightning. Once a month, at the stroke of midnight, unplug every device in your home. Light one candle. Stand in darkness and speak your Carnegie decree into the silence. The absence of electrical interference amplifies the signal straight to the subconscious. Record the session on voice memo. Listen once at dawn, then delete. The message becomes a private covenant between you and the universe. Let us culminate with the Churchill final sentence. Churchill prepared every speech with the last sentence first. This was their finest hour. He then reverse-engineered the entire address to land on that note. Write the last paragraph of your own eulogy, the exact cadence with which you wish to be remembered. Memorize it. Speak it nightly. Every tomorrow will write itself toward that inevitable paragraph. As this final transmission fades, stand barefoot, arms wide, and feel the entire planet turning beneath you. Whisper, "I have become the axis upon which destiny spins." Then step forward one, irreversible action within the next 60 seconds. Publish the post, wire the capital, hit send. The moment you move, the earth realigns. Subscribe now. Share this final scroll with the one soul ready to rule their realm, and meet me in the silence that follows conquest, where the only sound is the steady, unstoppable drum of your own becoming. The drum has stopped, the echo has not. There is a hush now, thick, electric, final, like the breath a blacksmith holds just before the final hammer fall. Everything you have rehearsed, refined, and re-etched into the folds of your mind is about to be tempered in live steel. We are no longer speaking of growth, we are speaking of sovereignty. Tonight, the last veil burns away, and you become the law that governs your own universe. Listen to the last heartbeat of Julius Caesar as he crossed the Rubicon at dawn, 49 BC. He looked back at the river, then forward at Rome, and whispered three words: Alia iacta est, the die is cast. One sentence, spoken once, rewrote the history of the world. One sentence is all you need. We will craft it now. The irrevocable sentence. Write one sentence of exactly 12 words, no more, no less. Each word must be a monolith, a noun, a verb, or a name. Present tense. No qualifiers, no apologies, no future. Example: I command continents, create kingdoms, crown generations, carry a mortal flame forward. Read it aloud once at sunrise, once at sunset, once at midnight. For 33 consecutive days. On the 34th day, you will discover that strangers quote your sentence back to you before you have spoken it aloud. The subconscious, once trained to this density of certainty, broadcasts like a planetary beacon. The Rockefeller reflex. John D. Rockefeller kept a tiny red notebook labeled Decisions. Inside were only 3 columns: act, delegate, eliminate. Every incoming demand was sorted within 30 seconds. No fourth column existed. Replicate the notebook in your phone's notes app. For the next 90 days, nothing is allowed to sit in limbo. Each hesitation you refuse is a neural groove of mastery you claim. By day 91, your reflex will be faster than thought. Opportunity will bounce off indecision like bullets off Kevlar. The Tesla still point. Tesla could hold an electrical arc in his mind for 37 minutes without blinking. He called it the still point between thunderbolts. You will create yours digitally. Download any binaural app. Set it to 4 Hz, the theta threshold. Lie flat, palms up, earbuds in. Loop one question. What does the next level demand I surrender? Hold the question for 12 minutes. Do not chase the answer, let it chase you. When it arrives, usually on day 4, it will arrive as a sensation, not a sentence. Honor the sensation immediately. Delete the app, cancel the subscription, end the relationship, whatever the body demands. Surrender is the final skill of command. The Churchill Dark Hour. Churchill's greatest speeches were written between 2 and 4 a.m. He called those hours the black dog's leash. Tonight, you adopt the leash. Set an alarm for 3:33 a.m. once a week. When it rings, rise without negotiation. Light a single candle. Speak your irrevocable sentence once. Then write by hand 3 paragraphs. The empire I am building, the enemy I am dissolving, the evidence I saw today that both are already true. Seal the pages in a black envelope. Do not reread. On your next birthday, open and witness the prophecy you authored in the dark. The Franklin Fourth Quarter. Franklin divided his day into 6 4-hour blocks. The final block, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., was labeled Prosecute the Present. He meant, hunt down the day's loose ends until none remain. You will compress the block into 4 minutes. At 10 p.m. sharp, set a timer. In those 4 minutes, write tomorrow's top 3 results. Lay out tomorrow's clothes. Silence every notification. Kiss the forehead of the person, or pet, or pillow you love most. When the timer dings, the day is crucified. Tomorrow is preborn. 4 minutes to own the next 24 hours. Do this for 40 nights, and time itself will start bending around your discipline. The Alexander last step. Alexander died at 32, yet his empire still speaks. His final instruction was whispered to his generals. Carry my body home, but bury my hands facing outward, so the world knows I took nothing with me. The gesture was a command to legacy. You will replicate it symbolically. Choose one possession you treasure. Watch. Ring. First dollar earned. Place it in a small wooden box. Mail the box to yourself. Post dated exactly 20 years from today. On the shipping label, write your irrevocable sentence. When the package returns, open it in front of your gathered tribe. The artifact inside will be proof that the child of today became the legend of tomorrow. The midnight lock. There is a final lock no teacher can pick for you. It is the moment you decide, once and absolutely, that the story you have rehearsed is the story you are now willing to die for. Tonight, at the stroke of midnight, wherever you are, take one step literal, physical cross an actual threshold, a doorway, a sidewalk crack, a room's edge. As your foot lands, speak your irrevocable sentence aloud for the final time. Do not look back. The Rubicon is behind you. From this second forward, every heartbeat is interest on a debt you now owe to the future. Pay it lavishly. The last subscription call. If these words have welded themselves to your marrow, subscribe now and ring the bell so the next transmission finds you already in motion. Thousands have crossed their own Rubicon through this channel. The tide will not wait for stragglers. Join the current, or watch from the ruins of hesitation. The final sound. There is nothing more to teach. There is only the echo of the sentence you now carry. Speak it once more out loud before the next breath. Feel the planet pause to listen, then step forward. The world is already adjusting its orbit to match the gravity of your becoming. And so the echo collapses into a single, searing point of white-hot decision. Nothing is left to rehearse, nothing left to polish. The iron is hot, the hammer is raised, the universe itself holds its breath. This is not the next chapter, this is the final ignition. Everything that follows is aftermath. Listen to the last heartbeat of Theodore Roosevelt on January 6, 1919. He dies in his sleep, but his last conscious act was to dictate a letter refusing leniency for a corrupt official. He closed his eyes, whispering, "Keep the standard high." The sentence did not end in the room. It rolled across continents, still echoing in every national park, every trust, busting law, every child who still believes vigor is virtue. Tonight you mint your own final directive, not for deathbed clarity, but for dawn assault. The eternal command. Write one word in the inside of your left wrist in indelible ink. Not a goal, not a wish, a command. Mine is rise. Yours must be the single syllable that, if screamed in battle, would make your enemies scatter and your allies charge. Look at it every time you wash your hands. The subconscious will associate water source of all life with the command. Hydration itself becomes a trigger for unstoppable action. The ruthless elimination protocol. From this moment forward, every object, relationship, or habit that cannot withstand the question, "Does this obey the eternal command?" is dead weight. No negotiation, no mourning. Dead weight sinks empires. Create 2 piles tonight. Fuel anything that accelerates the command. Burial anything that dilutes it. Burn the burial pile symbolically. Delete the app, archive the chat, cancel the subscription, close the account. Fire is the only language the subconscious recognizes as final. The Rockefeller final reflex. John D. Rockefeller's last conscious act each day was to write the number 1 in a tiny red ledger. 1 more dollar of net good added to the world before sleep. 1 more soul uplifted. 1 more seed planted. You will do the same. At the bottom of your daily journal, write the numeral 1 and the single act that earned it an email sent, a dollar donated, a hand extended. Do not write more. The subconscious registers the simplicity as non-negotiable. 1 act, every day, until the ledger becomes a skyscraper of ones. The Tesla zero-point breath. Tesla discovered that the moment between inhale and exhale is a literal electrical zero-point no polarity, pure potential. You will weaponize it. 3 times, daily dawn, noon, dusk stop everything. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 1 count at the 0 point. Exhale for 6 counts. At the 0 point, silently speak your eternal command. The nervous system begins to associate stillness with detonation. Within 40 days, the breath alone will fire the command without thought. The Churchill final hour. Churchill's last hour of every day was spent alone, painting. He never showed the paintings. They were private rehearsals for bold strokes on the canvas of history. Each night at 11:11 p.m., paint 1 stroke digital, physical, metaphorical, a canvas that no one else will ever see. 1 stroke only. The subconscious learns that creation is not performance, it is ritual. By stroke 100, the unseen canvas will have bled into every visible masterpiece you release. The Alexander burial of doubt. Alexander buried his doubts in the sand of the Hellespont before crossing. You will do the same in literal sand. Fill a small glass vial with sand from the nearest riverbank, beach, or sandbox. Carry it in your pocket. Whenever doubt whispers, uncap the vial, pour a grain into your palm, and blow it away while whispering your eternal command. The subconscious records the physical act of burial. Doubt becomes biodegradable. The Franklin final accounting. Franklin's last entry in his private ledger was a single line. All debts paid, all virtues tested, all glory temporary, only the work remains. Tonight, open a new bank account labeled Empire Seed. Deposit $1. Set an automatic transfer of $1 every week for the rest of your life. The balance will outlive you. The subconscious registers the account as an immortal promise. The midnight execution. At exactly 12:12 a.m., on the 7th night from this moment, you will execute 1 irreversible action. Publish the manifesto, launch the product, sign the deed, propose the merger. Whatever the command demands, set the calendar event now. If fear rises, reread Rockefeller's ledger entry. 1 act, 1 life, 1 legacy. The last sound you will ever need. There is nothing more to say. There is only the sound of your foot crossing the threshold. Listen for it. It is already happening. The earth is already tilting to catch your weight. Step. Champions, your mind has been forged a little stronger today, but the real test isn't what you learned, it's what you do with it. Take action, dominate your day, and remember, we're not just building better thoughts, we're forging unstoppable lives. The forge doesn't stop, and neither do you. If this episode hit you where it counts, subscribe to Mental Forge Academy and join the Brotherhood of Champions who refuse to settle for ordinary. Go transform, strike while the mind is hot.